We're going to go to Doug. We're going to try to get as many in as we can. Doug, and then Robert Hamilton Owens.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Mickey. I know quite a few Israelis. I do business with Israelis, and your level of chutzpah is absolutely next level, my friend. This is unbelievable. To riff off of what you were just talking about, answering Lindsay's question, I did come across or read or hear on the news, I don't know, Trump's recent statement that I wanted to get your opinion on with respect to is it helpful or hurtful in terms of I don't know what you want to call it, a threat to Hamas about all hostages needing to be returned, or there will be massive hell to pay before he takes office. I'm paraphrasing, but I think you're very familiar with this.
Yeah. Do you want me to go ahead or take a second question before?
No, there's no other question. I'm trying to be
okay.
mindful and respectful of everybody else.
Yeah.
I could ask you 10 questions.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. No, thank you. Sorry. So I would say that first of all on the two things. First is a quick one on Trump's statement. Look, I appreciate his intention in it. He's trying to be what the president was for what Reagan was back in the days when he said, "Oh, you solved the hostage problem before I come into office. Otherwise, it's terrible." If I'm a Palestinian, I'll ask you what additional hell can be caused in Gaza? Gaza is hell. It has been hell. So I don't know. They're looking at it, especially Hamas, and they're looking at it, it's like, what's the leverage here? What is really the threat? Remember, again, I talk about Hamas a lot and trying to understand how they see and how they negotiate. Both Hamas and Hezbollah, both leaders are dead now, but they were very open about their strategy. Their objective was the destruction of the state of Israel. They don't do it through occupation of Israel. Yeah, they had a tactical success on October 7th, but they knew they're not going to occupy Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. Okay, they needed to do it through two elements. One is the crumbling of the Israeli society from within, and second is the delegitimization of Israel internationally. A year into this, they've been pretty damn successful. Now, it's not done, of course, but there's dynamics that they saw and that they realized, because they knew the Israeli public really well, that will be created, that they played on. And these were just triggers to do that. And so for Hamas, and I'm saying that, trying to say it carefully, dead Palestinians, not a bad thing for them. Again, these are fundamentalists. The individual human life is not the highest priority. There is a bigger cause. These are martyrs to a cause. Unfortunately for me, that's a little sidetrack. I can say similar things about the current members of the current Israeli government as well. For them, the hostages are martyrs to a larger cause as well, which is devastating for me as an Israeli. But going back to Hamas, that threat to them is going to further delegitimize Israel. So I don't know that it's useful from that perspective. It is comforting for the families because they know that, okay, well, Trump is coming in. He's not going to forget about us. I hope that will be true when he comes in, and it's not going to end up being a deal that bypasses hostages or assumes hostages are dead and move on. The other thing I would say on this, Doug, just in the way that Hamas negotiates, I'll give you an example. I did a couple of times and it worked well. So let's say, Doug, you stole a glass of milk from me. Okay. Now you stole that glass of milk because you believe that my father stole the cow from your father that made that milk, whatever, that's on the side here. But you stole that glass of milk and I really want that milk. And I tried to grab it by force. And I kind of put my hands on it a little bit, but I miss it, and some milk spills and spoils. And I say to you, Doug, how much for the milk? And you say, Mickey, it's going to be $100. Because you're crazy. $100 for a glass of milk, not only a glass of milk that you stole from me. You're irrational. There's no way, no deal, nothing. But I really want that milk. And so I look around and I see that you have some cookies. So I go after you and I grab successfully one of your cookies, thinking, ha, all right, now that I have a cookie, for sure, I'm going to get the milk for cheaper than $100. And I come to you and I say, Doug, how much for the milk now? And you say, $100 and a cookie. And I go, you are crazy. You can't negotiate with you. Just increase the price. In this little analogy, I'm Israel, you're Hamas in the negotiation style. I'm focused on the transaction. I'm focused on the actual transaction of this. Hamas is focused on the picture of what it looks like at the end. And if you look at that, and if what I say is correct, then the more cookies Israel take from Hamas, meaning the more deeper they go into Gaza, deeper the cost that they inflict there, the longer the list and the longer the price will look in order to get those hostages back. And if we understand that, if Israel's objective was to return or get the hostages back home, the military incursion was counter to that. But that's not how it was sold. It was sold as if we'll apply military pressure and therefore Hamas will flex on their things. They never do. It's a fundamentalist kind of thing. They just don't do that. Israel, in my opinion, one of the other things, again, Monday night quarterbacking or Monday morning quarterbacking, the phrase, sorry. It goes, Israel could have put Hamas after October 7th under siege, after they cleared up Israel from it, under siege, not go in, sit there, nothing goes in, nothing goes out, and say, until we have a hostage deal on this, and all hostages are back, nothing goes in, nothing goes out. As soon as Israel started invading, it served Israel's security purposes, other purposes other than hostages. I'm not arguing with that, but it did come at a price that was, they tried to portray it as it's all coherent. It wasn't. It was conflicting. So that's kind of a little bit of the spiel on Hamas.